All right, so I'm going to try and outline this. I really haven't fully thought about this in a while, so I'm rusty on some of the specifics. But essentially, the idea is that if you follow the trend of art and society throughout the generation, you can track the success and failure of a society by the presence or absence of God or a God or gods. So, for instance, if you look at time, it starts with Roman history. Well, you can even start before that. You could start back in like caveman times, where there is a trend that can be discernibly established by the artwork, starting from a recognition of a higher being. So these beginning societies, these tribes, we'll say, recognize this being that is higher than them. So if you're in a jungle or something like that, or you're in nature, you're tribe forming, there is no organized society yet, that you're looking at the things around you and you're drawing these lines, you're assembling this perspective of something more than yourself. Like, I am not all powerful, there is something greater than me. And this can be drawn out and inflated to the idea of creators creating you, something bigger, something more, is the maker of you and has made everything to work together. So in these tribes, it's closer to nature. They see it as a more microscopic view or a zoomed in view. I guess macro too, if you look at it that way. It's shortened, whatever it is. Like, because of the interconnectedness directly with nature, you can see it, it's there. Whereas as societies go out, and the more that they understand, the perspective of God gets bigger and bigger. You know, it's nature, it's the sky, it's the stars, it's something even bigger than that. You know, it's getting zoomed out. So being closer to nature, the God was closer. Looking at like Adam and Eve, they were walking with God in the garden. You know, a lot of this is repeated and expounded upon. So as societies grew, then the God had to get bigger with them. So you start seeing this trend of man recognizing there's a God and following the rules established by God, and then climbing upwards to the point where the society is successful because of the fact that they followed God. And so things are good, but eventually the height of man above what was considered God previously gets so high that God at some point gets beneath them. So the idea of man getting better or being above the capabilities of God. So after that, you have this trend of society being human-centric. Like the focus is off God now, like what is all about humanity. And with this, they start thinking man is just as powerful as God or greater than God. And because of this, there is an almost immediate dramatic fall in the societies, the corruption, the going from the Greeks to the Romans, the gods were shifting. From the Romans to the Christians, the gods are shifting. And like every time one god gets on top, the proprietors of that god forsake the name of God and make themselves become the power. They either assume the equality of God and you be the direct interpreters and therefore are revered because of this, or they get above God saying, this God, I'm better than God, like you should look to me instead, getting selfish. And with this, the society starts to fall, it starts to cascade, and a new God or a new recognition of God comes about and is a rise. And so the recognition that there is a God, and it gives us direction, it gives us purpose, it gives us something bigger than us to follow, a unification, which since modernism, since the Enlightenment, has been on a steady decline, because the ability to translate these words and the technologies that we have found has made us bigger than the God that we currently know. So like the God right now is multi-universal, if it could exist, but we can't understand that. But the presence of God is always there, from the smallest, closest thing, this microcosm, to the macrocosm of multi-universes. So the theory then is that this is directly trackable throughout humanity's history. This elevation because of a respect or a reverence for a God, something bigger than ourselves, this bigger understanding of existence, and the necessity, or the problem is humanity gets too big for the concept of God. So even though we may not directly understand this, it could be translated and recognized through art as the rise and falls, as compared to different societies. So tracing the societies, tracing the art, will give you this hierarchy of man being less than God, recognizing God, going higher than God, and then falling. The Icarus story, if you will. So this is the idea. Do more, do better.